Hi, everybody. Sandra McAllis here from the podcast Keep It Spiritually Simple. Welcome. Please do hit subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment. And as many of you know, I'm doing a series on addiction, and many people want to step up and talk about either their story, their experience, or their professional way of how they're working with this particular issue. Um, and I have got Chris Oppenheimer here today. So, Chris, I guess my real question to you would be how far were you in your addiction when you got the wake up call?
Well, it was many years ago now. It was in 2004. And I would say the deepest, darkest place I'd ever been, I guess, was 7 days of being up, severe psychosis, checking myself into a five-star hotel in Dallas, Texas, thinking I'm solving a crime. But somewhere in the middle of the night, I called my mother and told her if she didn't get to Dallas, Texas, I was going to die. And throughout the night, I was knocking on doors, making amends, and people were reporting to security. And they couldn't find the guy because I'd keep going back to my room after I'd knock on a door, make amends, so they could never know what was going on. I didn't know this was happening. I found this out later. But the point of it is, my mom was walking in the hotel doors just as the police were, as I was coming down the escalator in a pair of boxer shorts and a t-shirt. And had my mom not intercepted the police, I would probably be in prison today with all the drugs that I had up in my room because I didn't know what I was going to do. I'd lost my home, I'd lost everything. I was shooting up methamphetamines as often as I could, and I was not sleeping at all. And that is when my mom and my aunt cleared out the hotel. My uncle is a police officer, told him what to do. And this is before the cameras that are out there today. Think about that. Today, this is not even possible. I'd be in prison. Or if they were doing the right things with the video, I'd be in prison. But the point is God was in the midst of this all. I get checked into rehab. I thought I was going on vacation. And then I checked my mom in instead of me. That's a whole nother story on another day. I could write a book or a movie about this. It's still up here in my head, and my counselor in rehab said I should. But what happened, Sandra, is I'd never been on medication before, just drugs. I self-prescribed Adderall, which turned into methamphetamines. But that was black market Adderall, which is rampant. You know what I'm saying? And when I get into rehab, the next thing I know, I'm on medication. And that kind of set something off that's led me to where I even am today in the business world. But my question was, if I am here for rehab and detox, why am I putting chemicals into my body when I'm supposed to be getting rid of the chemicals that you want out of my body? And nobody could ever give me an answer. And that led me down the road to AA, to Celebrate Recovery, to all these programs. And I never fit into any of them because I also knew that the cannabis plants were the plants that had the healing properties just because of my own acumen, my own knowledge, my own study. And nobody could ever tell me why that was taken out of our society. And so I realized real quickly that if I was going to get out of rehab and heal myself, I needed to get on a journey of better health. And that meant the foods that I ate, the vitamins that I took, how I took care of myself. And that didn't happen overnight. It starts with one simple thing. The first thing that I remember taking out of my diet so I could become healthier was Dr. Pepper. I used to drink a six-pack of Dr. Pepper almost every single day. And during my addiction, it was either protein shakes, Dr. Pepper. You know what I'm saying? And when I look back, what a gross ideology to even have in the body. And so the first thing I stripped away was Dr. Pepper. And that just one little shift created a shift that led to another thing. And I went from 7 medications 5 years ago to at this very current moment, over 90 days with zero medications. And we're closely monitoring everything now because I truly believe this is my own story. We don't need all that stuff. I believe medication has become the new addiction and it got switched, and now people are confused. And if Flexner and Rockefeller can do what they did, I know that Botany Scientifics, myself, and our team, and what we're up to with our health advocacy board, we're going to flip the script and show people what true healing looks like. And I'm the poster boy for it.
Yeah, I think we really do have to look at the history of the Rockefeller situation where they took away all the natural healing, condemned it, ran people out of town, and then donated a lot of money to medical schools and then controlled the textbooks, what you learned, and then brought in pharmaceuticals.
And here we are.
So, and here we are. So it's the street drugs that people are taking because they're not finding something missing in their world. They feel off centered, or maybe they started down a path of a prescription medication that then sent them off chemically in the other direction, right?
And that happened to me. And it's
Exactly.
horrible. I mean, suicidal, everything. And so uh, that's not what plants do for us. These medications are causing suicidal thoughts. They say it on their commercial. And then they tell you to ask your doctor if it's right for you. And he's not going to tell you no because he gets money off of it 9 times out of 10. I do believe a lot of doctors are starting to say no. I think a lot of people in the medical field got in it to do what is right. And that's why we're building a community and a health advocacy board of people that believe in natural holistic healing and want to learn more about our endocannabinoid system and how our bodies can heal themselves. And so, I think all that I went through in my addiction was to wake up who my inner soul was to become who I was really designed to be. I think I was a brilliant child, a brilliant adult, successful, but they knew how to get drugs into me and to dumb me down. Somewhere along the way, I don't know if somebody knew who I was and, woo, we need to slow this guy's vibration down. Let's get in his environment and pull him to the depths so he doesn't rise above it. What if that's what was really going on? What if that's what's going on in our schools? Why is it the most brilliant kids that are always ADD? Why are we trying to dumb them down? Like, these are questions I have, nobody can answer. So I created our own health advocacy board of people way smarter than myself so that we could give real answers to humanity that we were never given.
Yes. Yes, and we already know that there has been this deep dive into controlling through medications, and doctors are trained to just write the script. And if they can't fix it with the script, they got to refer you out to somebody else. They
And
never
that's
touch.
really not their fault. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like, on
This is
their
what they're
behalf,
learned.
they did not get into this space to hurt people. But what do you do with these people that are in the profession and they know they've been hurting people now? They need a safe place, and that's who Botany Scientifics is. We want to embrace the community that wants to do what's right and build people going out and teaching the right thing. See,
Yes.
Flexner and Rockefeller were ego and greed. We're love and grace. And that's who humanity is becoming. And so, Sandra, thank you for this podcast. It's real to talk about this. And there's everybody's family. Somebody knows somebody going through addiction. The first thing I want you to recognize is most of them are really brilliant people that are bored with how materialistic and fake our society has become.
Mhm.
If I really look back, that was my issue. I was so bored with how fake society had become. People need authenticity, love, touch, and communication. And we have been told what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and what it's for. And nobody has ever been able to ask a question and get answers from all sides. I don't need one view. I need your view, your view, your view, your view,
Mhm.
and then I can make an educated decision on what's best for me. That's what we got to get back to in the world.
Yes, and if some step out of that, they're considered abnormal, therefore they need to be medicated, and we're medicating younger and younger and younger, starting kids
Brains
on
haven't even developed.
no,
They know this.
no.
Then these kids can never be in the military. So then that changes the amount, the type of people we can have in our, like all these things are connected. I always say I'm attached to nothing, connected to it all. And if everybody would realize that we're connected to the whole thing, so we got to remove our attachment to any one thing being right or wrong. We got to hear all views and then make the decision that's right for our owner brilliance to come out.
Yeah, and I think we're also held hostage to the medical field, and the medical field is held hostage to their malpractice insurance. So if they're not writing those prescriptions, then they could lose their malpractice insurance. And I think we're getting to the point now where we're hearing and seeing and sensing, and it's within our own families, it's within our own walls, at least one person that we know within our family dynamic, friend dynamic is struggling with medications that
Mhm.
aren't working for whatever reason, run the gamut with it. We are at the point now where people are saying, this isn't working. This isn't working. But if we don't have enough alternatives out there to slant the board, slant the weights that direction, then people are going to stay in this syndrome. And so I think that's where Botany Scientifics and some of the things that you have founded because of your road traveled, right? That I think can really be helpful to people.
I believe that's why I'm still living. I died too, and I'm here. So I believe my gift is to just do what I'm doing now, just sharing my story, letting people know that there's other people that have been where you are, may not be the same story, but don't be afraid to share your story with somebody because that's going to free yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole vision is to emancipate humanity's brilliance with God's plans. And we're doing that every day. And if we can do that, then I know I've done my job. And so I just want every person to know that it doesn't matter where you are in this moment. Just know that you are a gift. And your gift is to be present to where you are this very moment and begin making just one simple choice, just like that Dr. Pepper. Make that one simple choice and stick to it. See, I knew I could stop Dr. Pepper. I didn't know I could stop meth. But if you can stop one little thing, you can stop the big things that are problems in your life too. So start with the little things. Start with one little thing that gives you a success. Carol, my counselor in rehab, told me, Chris, if you're ever feeling like you have an issue or something, or you're getting self into yourself, go unload the dishwasher. Go carry groceries out of the grocery store for somebody. The minute you start doing something outside of yourself, the whole world begins to change. And so, what does addiction want us to do? It wants us to stay in ourself. The enemy wants us to stay in ourselves so he can stay in our ear. We were put on this to go create. And so we are creators. And I know now my addiction was me trying to be brilliant in a world that had been dimmed out. So we got to go be the light. And when we're the light, we can go change the world.
Wow, that is empowering. So start with a mini empowerment. Start with one thing that you can say, this is not serving me. I'm just going to give it 7 to 10 days. And I'm just going to say, you know what? I'm going to put that on the shelf and I'm not going to indulge in that. And that 7 to 10 days could turn into 7 to 10 years. You never know. I did that with alcohol myself. I could only give myself 30 days. Actually, I gave myself 15 because I had never stuck to anything in my life. but I just know that my inflammation was so bad, I wanted to get out of pain. So I gave myself 15 days, got to 30 days, got to 3 months. And you know how many people came out of the woodwork? Well, it's your birthday. We should celebrate. Let's get a drink. No, I'm not at my 90 days yet. Oh, well, we won't tell anybody. I go, but I would know. So there's a lot of people who are going to go through this whole thing
Then they'll
and
stop
trap you.
inviting you because they're afraid to be a bad influence. And
That
they
happened too.
realize
But
we're stronger than they are. We can
yeah,
show up in that situation and be, you know,
exactly.
it's
But for
wild.
me, I was bound and determined. So it didn't matter if I walked into a bar and ordered a glass of water with no ice and the bartender would roll his eyes and everyone else was drinking. That didn't faze me because it wasn't my issue. My issue was I wanted to give up something that would that would help with the inflammation that was causing me acute chronic pain. And I thought, let me just move from here. But I just want to talk to the viewers right now, real quick, too. You know, society sort of dictates what's cool. So people think getting drunk is cool. You're funny when you're drunk. You're this. So you start figuring out where you fit in and where you don't. All these plastic clothes that we're selling, they're cool. We buy them everywhere in every store. Everything that we wear has got plastic and synthetics in it. You know, we've made coffee shops the cool place to be with molded beans and high caffeine and all of these added sugars. We've made it cool. And we're driving ourselves into addiction even if we weren't intentionally going there for it, right? We're driving ourselves. We're making it it's cool for a mother daughter to go get a cup of coffee. It's cool for a mother daughter to go get a pedicure with all the chemicals on it. I'm not saying don't do these things. I'm just saying pick and choose what it is that you're going to wear, what it is you're going to eat, what it is you're going to fill your mind filled full. Because you know what? We are at the point now where we are so saturated, we have no idea what our authentic self is. No idea what our authentic self is. I gave up caffeine this month. Why? Because I wanted to see where my nervous system is. Where is my true baseline for my nervous system? I only have an iced tea a couple times a week. Can't do any caffeine after noon. It used to be 2 o'clock, then it was 1 o'clock. Now it's noon. And then I said, I wonder if I just stopped indulging in any kind of caffeine, if I could figure out where the baseline to my nervous system is. I can't wait to tell you on the flip side.
That's pretty cool. Really awesome. And you know, one thing that you said is 15 days, 10 days, 1 day, you know, in AA, 24-hour chip, like minute by minute. One thing my mom taught me, and I don't know where she learned it. I don't know if it's true or false. We don't know what's true or false, but she always told me 21 days creates a habit, 3 weeks. So I've always done things by 21 days. That's the way I was raised. You do 15, but let's just strip it back to AA. Do it for 24 hours. Man, celebrate that little success and keep going. You know, if people would just quit putting time limits, it's just like even AA, it was a trigger, your 1 year anniversary. Let's go celebrate. Like people don't even know how to do that. And when I was in AA, I'd watch people spin off like I'm hanging around the one person wrong way, and I could be swayed right back into that. So I had to step out of that environment because it wasn't bringing me up as a human being. It was actually bringing me down. That was my personality, though. Not everybody's the same, but start somewhere improving every day. It's that small degree of direction that changes everything. If you were out in the wilderness and you had a compass and you just went 1 degree different, it may not seem that different for the first mile, but after about 10 miles, you're in a whole different place. And so
Yes.
that's the way to look at it, is it's just that 1 degree of difference will change the direction of your life.
Yes. And thank you for putting it so gracefully. I think it's really important that we realize that just one little tiny thing is a drop in the bucket to getting to more success of what our soul is yearning to be and to become in more of our authentic physical avatar. So let's talk about your journey. So you've now gotten yourself off of all your medications. You're now gotten yourself off your Dr. Pepper. And so now you're starting to have new neuroplastic pathways and all kinds of things happening where the body is connecting differently. You're feeling differently. You're sensing things differently. So what's coming about from there?
Creativity. That's what's allowed me to start our brand 7 years ago from the ground up with nothing. That's what led me to the jungle to go learn more about what my purpose was here on this earth. None of these things I explored when I was medicated. None of these things I explored when I was being told what to do. You just start following your inner self guidance. I mean, especially after I turned 55 years ago, at some point, we've learned, read, seen, gone, done enough things that we should be able to spend the next 50 years making a difference for the world to be a better place. And that's really my vision from 50 on, and I'm 55, is to really create a better place. And that's what I do every day. That's my intention. That's a purpose-driven life. And I don't think most people know their purpose because it's the medications, it's the foods, it's the indoctrination, it's the fear that keeps us from that. And that was all by design. And so all we're doing is we're shifting the vibration of humanity in this very moment with somebody watching right now.
Yes. It just takes one person to step off that train. What we think it's the gravy train of life, like that's how your paradox is supposed to go. It's like, you get out of high school, college, and you get a job, you get married, you have kids, and down the road you figure out I am unhealthy in every way, shape, or form. I have addictions I didn't realize I even had. And you wake up and you realize this isn't what I want my life to be. But I want this show to start having people wake up at a much younger age before they get down that path, and to say, you have got choices here. You have choices to change things. And only you have the power to change that thought that could change everything within your physical, emotional bodies. You can't keep carrying around all this trauma drama all the time. It's like constantly self-tasering, you know? It's like it's very painful after a while when you really look at life at the way it is. Like, is this it? This is chaos. This is insanity. My nervous system is a mess. I don't even know what thought is mine.
Right?
Right? I don't. Like, was that my thought? Did I agree to that because I actually stepped back and actually tuned in? Or did I just agree to it because it's just out here in the energetic field, and someone's implanting that, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here, but it is real, people. It is real. If you do a little bit of a deeper dive, you're going to see that a lot of things are intentional and it's all for making money. Why do you think they would put added sugars into everything that you have? Because sugar is one of the most highly addictive substances on the earth, right? So they
Mm.
hide it in everything, including bottles of spice. You think it's salt and pepper and some spice. There's a lot of sugar in there.
And it's not even real sugar 90% of the time.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
processed. It's all this other
Chemical.
stuff. And yeah, it's chemical laden and we're making that shift and that's what feels good. And you mentioned the younger generation. I was at South by Southwest this weekend and there's a lot of 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds. And it's real interesting. That generation wants to be healthy. That generation is so much more evolved because I think they've seen the worst of the worst and they don't want that. When you grow up around all this, you don't want that and you create a world beyond that. And it's really beautiful to see that younger generation already get it. But I think they're looking for those of us in our generation that are a little older as the ones that are wise counsel that are already there. And we're there through the bad, horrible experiences, and we made it. Many of them don't ever want to have to experience. And gratefully, because they do trust, they won't ever have to. See, I grew up in a society where we don't trust anybody. And so who do we trust? We don't. Everything got shoved under the rug. And that's how society became what it was. And now it's being exposed. And so I think everybody's starting to feel not only that are they getting grounded, but they're feeling their real soul come back to life. Like every day, I just see people becoming more alive with what we're really here for. And it isn't to make money. I mean, think about that construct. We made up money. Somebody actually made up what money was, and that's what we're all chasing. That I believe is even shifting. I believe the new world's not going to be about money. I believe there's so much of it, nobody needs any of it. How good of a person are you being, and what are you contributing to make the world a better place?
Yes. Yes. And what do you take in and what do you do during the day that actually aid you in that? Someone asked me the other day, well, so what do you think about such and such? It's on the news. And I go, I don't know anything about it. And they go, what do you mean? I go, here's how I look at it. If I was to know all that information, tell me how it makes me a stronger, better, happier person in this moment. And what can I actually do to have changed any of that that's on the world global news, right? So I choose to let my nervous system bypass that information so that it doesn't get so tazzed up because it affects everything in my body. And next thing you know, I'm emotional or I'm angry or I'm frustrated because I don't have control. I can't change what's happening somewhere else. I could only change what's happening under this hood. That's all I can change. And to be the best that I can be and then to mentor that when asked without pushing it on anyone else, but yet energetically I'm emanating higher qualities of health and mentally and emotionally as well by not jumping into all that electromagnetic distortion that's placed in our way all day every day, and it's
Mm.
happening in these younger generations, which also led you to create something. You created something that helps people with that, because I know I'm doing it now and I'm really loving it every morning, and I'm also setting my intention and blessing it of what I want from it. And a lot of that is just connecting with the elementals and the earth and all the hands that put this together for the highest quality and highest being for me in this moment moving forward. So tell us about it.
Yeah, so we've formulated, and it is a true formulation called Grounded. And Grounded is a gummy that comes to us 100% from nature. And it's high in lion's mane, cordyceps, reishi, suma root, green tea, guarana. Um, but basically, everything that is in this is designed, and then it's aligned with CBD, CBG, and CBDV, three cannabinoids from the cannabis family that actually allows the gut and mind to coordinate together. And with the oxygenation of the mushrooms, for the first time, we have a real product that can go into the body, find our receptors because we are born with an endocannabinoid system, and feed them the nutrients from the mushrooms that our body has been depleted, and it gets distributed through the cannabinoids as well. And so it's actually, I'm not gonna, I am gonna say this. This is my personal solution for Adderall, but I don't want people to take that the wrong way because that's why we called it grounded. Adderall makes you feel jittery, shaky, this, that. Grounded, you should feel like your feet are planted in the dirt and you're just at peace with life. Like you are one with nature, you are one with whatever you're doing because it is an adaptogen, highly adaptogenic. So whatever you're doing, that's what it'll become. If you're worried and panicked, you're going to be worried and panicked. If you're cutting the lawn, you're going to cut the lawn. If you're studying and have to focus, you're going to be in the zone and focused. But most people have never learned to take a product with intention. They've been taking things because they've been told. And most people are like, oh, I need Adderall. I need one of those, and they'll grab one and they'll want it. That's not the intention. The intention is, why are you even taking this grounded gummy? And what would you like to get out of it when it connects with your being? See, because our bodies, we are our own ecosystem. And so when you put that Dr. Pepper in your body, what would it happen if you poured Dr. Pepper in your plants in your living room? Yeah, exactly. And so Most people have been taught, like you said, Nancy, let's go out and party and celebrate and let's get messed up. Like that is what people actual intention is. Grounded gummies, show me today my inner brilliance and why when people call me ADD, did that really just mean I was multi-aware and I knew what was really going on? Show me what my perception really is. And then I take the gummy and I will. Oh, it tastes so good.
It does taste good.
It's got a good chew through
It
too.
does. It
And
does.
it took us 3 years to get this right because somebody said this weekend at South by Southwest, that's really good. What other flavors do you have? I said, do you know how difficult it is to even get limes made and these other mushrooms to taste good together? I think we're going to stick with one flavor at this point.
Yes.
If we turn it into drinks or something, maybe a different story. But to have a 7 gram gummy that's going to give your body what it needs, and if somebody wants to take THC, they can add that to this. If they want to go do DMT or other mushrooms, they can do that. Get grounded. Figure out where you are before you begin all this other stuff. It's just like with my medication. How does a doctor know what to add or titrate up and down if you're on so many? The average American is on 5 medications. 5. How do you even begin other than starting to strip away what's already clogging up our ecosystem? You put enough of that in there, your ecosystem's going to die. And with that, by the way, is you. So we've got to take care of our ecosystem. So every time you put something into your body, am I hurting or am I helping my ecosystem? And I couldn't get the right answer when I did that with medication. I felt like I was hurting my ecosystem. And I know I was because I told my doctors last week, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. And it's because all that's out. It's been 120 days. All that's out.
Yeah.
And
And when you talk about medications, I'll say to people, are you on any medications? No, I don't take anything. Really? Do you, I just saw you take Motrin the other day. Oh, that's just Motrin. That's
yeah,
medication.
no,
I just saw you use an allergy tablet. That's medication. Your nasal spray. That's medication. Prescription for your eczema. That's medication.
yeah.
You people don't realize all the OTC over the counter is equally medication as your prescription medications.
Yeah, and we have a capsule. It's a 25 milligram capsule. And I tell everybody you should take that like you do your Tylenol, your aspirin, your Motrin, all these things could just be a capsule because these plants connect with our body. Do you know that the human cell is most connected to the cannabis plant than any other plant structurally?
I've heard.
So why would they make sense why they don't want us to have it, right? Because we don't need all this. We need to simplify things down to one thing. And I believe that capsule is a game changer. That's how I weaned myself off all my heart meds 3 years ago. But grounded is for a whole nother thing. But what it's doing for people, all that and so much more, right? And so that's the beauty of plants. And that's why I love what I do, because we're taking something that we were told bad, which people could look at my past and say, oh, he was an addict. Okay, well, that addict took his darkness and he's bringing it to light. And I couldn't think of a better person to run a company like ours than myself, because if you don't have the experience, how do you have the testimony?
Yes. And just to clarify, there's no THC in the gummies.
In the grounded gummy, there is
Yes.
0 THC.
Hmm.
And the reason why is I'm tired of seeing children medicated. And
Yes.
it's that they're even wanting us in Texas to say that people have to be 21 and older to purchase this product or take this product. I think a parent should be able to have a say if their child takes natural, non there's nothing psychedelic, nothing out bad for your child in here. Parents should be able to be an advocate for their child for this over a medication.
Yes.
But what happened is nobody has that option. That's part of the reason why I created this, because I'm watching kids go down this journey that I went down, and I want to stop it. And I want parents to have a solution. And
Yes.
that's what I believe we have here is a real solution. So thank you for asking about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just like to be sure because some people don't know and they're just going to reach out and try to do something and think they're going to get a little buzz off of it, and that's not at all what's going to happen. And yeah, Adderall might give you an instant boom, and this will give you, that microdosing, accumulation within your body. So I can tell you, I've taken it, and I'm very sensitive to a lot of things. So I have not felt off kiltered. I felt very grounded, a lot of creativity flowing through me, and it's very subtle. It's so subtle that you can be on it for a month and then go, you know what, I had an amazing idea. Where I what? And you can say, I'm feeding my cannabinoid system, and I'm also feeding those receptors that are asking for plants. It's asking for that. It's the same thing with hormone replacement. Our body has estrogen and testosterone and progesterone receptors, and some people will say, oh, I absolutely will never take that. I won't take it. But yet they'll take synthetic supplements from every which direction all the time that could be antifreeze,
Yeah,
but they'll take it.
it's ridiculous. And women, how many women are going through menopause
Yes.
and they take Myadol and all this other stuff, right? And those are pure chemicals. I just read some information on how our full spectrum hemp oil and tincture could be amazing for women with menopause.
Yes.
Nobody's out there teaching that. It's like, why appeal with chemicals? And then you try to have a baby and you wonder why you're having fertility issues, and then they put you on medication for that. So the system's broke. We know it. And so instead of complaining about it, we just want to make solutions. So thank you for recognizing what we're up to. And thank you for being a product of our product.
Well, thank you, Chris Oppenheimer, for coming on today and sharing everything. I think this has been very enlightening. We'll broaden the topics of, addiction and people's stories, and some alternatives you can choose, and giving up just one thing, just letting go of one thing for just one day that just might not be serving you, just to see if you could find some kind of baseline or homeostasis closer to thyself, thy soul self, the mission of why we're here, and awaken to the possibilities of broadening our awareness that there's so much more that's been covered up into this, what we call this, I don't know, it's a very sticky tightrope we're living here, and many of us just want to break loose and
Mm.
try something different and get back to basics in nature. So thank you for going through all you've gone through creating Botany Scientifics. And you guys, I will have a link to Botany Scientifics so you can get 20% off your first purchase. It'll be in the description. And botanyscientifics.com will also be there. So if you want to reach out to Chris and become an affiliate or know more about the products or buy them in bulk, please reach out. Anything else you want to share, Chris?
No, I just appreciate you putting this together because I think the more people that are out there willing to share their story and the journey, the more people we can help. It's not about me, it's about sharing what's happened to me so that another person can learn from it and maybe help another person or themselves. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, listeners, of Keep It Spiritually Simple, please remember to hit that subscribe, like, share, comment. And if you leave us a question, maybe we can answer it on the next episode with Chris Oppenheimer. All right, everybody, say goodbye to Chris. Bye,
Thank you.
Chris.
Have a great day.